Hi, 'tis the season and so forth, and so for the first time I watched the 1951 version of A Christmas Carol titled simply Scrooge. I've seen many previous versions of the story, film, television, radio. I've read the book multiple times. I'm a huge fan of Dickens, and I know the story very well. But this is the apparently definitive screen version, done straight, of the story, so I finally got around to watching it. Um, I don't really need to go into the story. Ebenezer Scrooge, Victorian businessman, very miserly, treats people very badly, doesn't have the spirit of Christmas, is visited by the spectre of Jacob Marley, his dead business partner, who tells him that he has to be redeemed or he will suffer in eternity in his afterlife. And he's visited by three ghosts, the spirits of Christmas past, present, and yet to come, and is eventually redeemed and approaches life with a new positive zest for humanity. Um, it's closer to the book than many other adaptations. There's a lot of material that is normally left out. The notion of two children, ignorance and want, who are concealed under the jacket of the Ghost of Christmas Present, who are usually left out of versions that are trying to sidestep the socialist, humanist message of the original book and just have people be nice to each other at Christmas. The original book is overtly political. Um, there's more background as well added in about Scrooge's past, his relationship with his sister Fan, and as a consequence, his nephew Fred. We even meet Scrooge's brother in law very briefly. We find out about his relationship with his father. There's a lot of background material added in, which I think adds to the story and to the mythology of the Christmas Carol very well. Um, the portrayal of the spectres is, I think, very well achieved. Christmas Present looks the way he always does, a very boisterous, big bearded fellow in a fur lined robe. Um, Christmas Yet to Come is just a black cowled figure whose face you only very briefly see due to imperfect lighting, and he just looks like a man. But the spirit of Christmas past is instead a very old man. Well, I think it's just a man who happened to be very old rather than a deliberate casting choice. Um, one element that also I liked was the addition of a new major character, Mr. Jorkin, who is a businessman who is instrumental in Scrooge's downfall or corruption towards greed and shunning humanity, who is I felt a very contemporary depiction of a casually horrible businessman who goes bankrupt and is quite happy to go along with it because he knows that his business partners can never allow it to be made public because of the economic consequences. So he doesn't care a jot, and I thought that was distressingly contemporary. Um, Alastair Sim is born to play Scrooge, um, an actor with a very long and successful career, but this is the role that he's best known for, and it fits him like a glove. He's superb. There isn't really a false note anywhere in the casting. There's a very brief appearance by one actor who plays nephew Fred's maid, who nods at him encouragingly um, just before he goes into Fred's Christmas party, as Scrooge worries that he won't be welcomed because of his previous cruelty, and she just gives him a very encouraging nod, and it's a tiny moment, but it means the whole world. Um, Overall, it's generally pretty faithful, I think. It adds in a lot of interesting additional material that works well. The production is superb for 1951. There's excellent performances across the board. It's it's a textbook version of how to do this well, of how to expand the story but remain true to its core. Um, I can understand why this is the default. This is the stereotypical, the the acme of screen versions of Scrooge. I mean, there have been greater versions of Scrooge. I mean, I'm sure I've spoken many times about my love of Scrooged, starring Bill Murray, and The Muppet Christmas Carol, both of which I think are superior films. but that take huge liberties with the text in the purpose of their own retelling. But in terms of the straight adaptation of the story, this is probably the definitive one, and with good reason.